We're back.
We are back. I can see us. Hey, there's Jackie. There's John.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Oh,
what's
real quick,
going on?
haikus. Don't prey on this boy, lest you become his dinner. Family is forever. We give Popsy 5 out of 5 blue chambray shirts.
Woo!
And dunes that hypnotize. Beach Planet opens your mind. Shapiro stays cool. We give Beachworld 5 out of 5 blue chambray shirts.
Woo!
Thank you. So we got to tell the people in the audience, well, I don't know, some of you look like repeats, but you're not going to be able to see these people that we're interviewing who are Johnny Mann and Jackie Perez right now. But feel free to tune in via YouTube to see what they look like because they're beautiful people. Welcome to the show, Jackie and John.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Right on. So can you guys hear us all right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I can hear you. Yes.
Excellent. Well, you guys are two of our absolute favorites.
100%.
Yeah, we actually got a chance to meet John at FanCon this year, so that was pretty amazing.
And out of
best.
like all the famous people we had there, John was like in my top 3 of people that came to FanCon for sure. I was like, you were my best friend immediately, and I forced my friendship on him.
So Jackie, I guess that's
didn't feel
that's
forced.
I'm going to have to come up and visit because I'm in Washington State now, so not too far.
So yeah, I mean, maybe you could come to FanCon.
That would be great.
Yeah. So
Do yourself a favor and go.
yeah, right. John, what are you working on right now?
Well, I have a documentary that's set to premiere this coming September, like in a matter of weeks, that I'm really excited about. It was kind of a passion project throughout COVID, so I'm finally ready to get it out of my living room / office and out into the world for people to see.
Amazing. Jackie, what are you working on?
I've been focusing on my writing and have actually a dramedy going out soon, but I'm really itching to get back into the director's chair.
Right on.
Yeah, I follow, like you guys know I'm a Twitter whore, so I see that Jackie is always up to something on there. She's like, I took this writing class, or I worked with these people. And then John is also always shamelessly promoting himself. So
Something
that
I
was
take
more
a
of a
lot of pride in.
statement. Pardon me? I just missed what he said.
Say it again, John.
Something I take a lot of pride in. Shamelessly promoting myself.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm my own biggest fan. What's
Gotta start
Jackie?
somewhere.
Jackie, question for you, and I'm like, I can't remember if we asked you this question last year, but what's a hedgehog wrangler?
So my husband John is amazing, and he's always there from the first moment of ideation throughout the whole process. And we used to have a pet hedgehog who passed away, but he is now the hedgehog wrangler on all our films. So it's a little nod to John and thanking you, and a nod to our pet hedgehog people.
So you have plans to bring the hedgehog back no matter what you make so that your husband can wrangle a hedgehog. Okay.
Hedgehog will always be a little Easter egg in the credits. All my films.
Right on. And you've got you like since we last spoke, I can't recall if you like was Beachworld already up on dust when we talked to you last year?
It was not. It went up. We had to get special permission since Dollar Babies are normally film festival only. And so after we screened at last year's Stephen King World Festival, which was amazing, we were able to have distribution on Dust, which was incredible. We've had over 250,000 views.
How much?
Like it's up to 270,000 right now.
That's amazing.
And then us lawyers had to talk to Stephen King's lawyers, and Stephen King watched the film and told us his job. My husband made a shirt. His quote.
Yeah.
Good job from Steve. So it was really neat to get that word that he watched it and approved us.
That's rad.
That's awesome. It's a real small percentage of Dollar Babies that ever go on to showing them commercially, correct? So do you know any statistics of that in regards to how many maybe, or what that was for you guys?
For us, I'm not sure. I think we're the first on Dust. But I do not know those statistics, unfortunately.
Wah, wah. Just kidding.
John, have you tried to get commercial release for Popsy?
No, I haven't. Not yet. But now that I know that it's even a possibility, as Jackie's talking about Dust right now, then that might be an avenue that I have to go down.
Right on, right on.
I was in the YouTube chat while your films were playing, as were the both of you, which is really fantastic. And I saw all the love for both of these films. So I want to know, obviously you're going on to do different things, but where do these particular films fit into your heart and your body of work to each of you?
Jackie, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. I mean, Beachworld holds a special place in my heart. It was a definitely a huge undertaking, and making this short film gave me the confidence to tackle a feature. And so I really want to use it as a jumping off point to direct a feature. And in the meantime, until I get that off the ground, I will be making more horror, practical effects driven shorts. I love playing with blood.
I love that.
Yeah, that bloodshot, the blood eye.
So good.
So good.
She was not hurt. Our lead actress, Samantha Kudaram, she got the blood in her eye, was a total pro, and was totally fine afterwards.
Keep shooting.
Okay, John, what about you?
I knew about Popsy from like a young age because my mom is a huge Stephen King fan, and I remember as a kid her talking about like, couldn't remember the title of the short story, but it had such a great twist ending, and would always talk about like Popsy's gonna be really mad at you, and it's this creepy kid and whatever. And then when I saw that it was available through the Dollar Baby program, it just became like a no-brainer that had to be the one. And I've worked with Rob before, who plays the creepy guy in the van, and knew that he would be perfect for that. So it all kind of really fell together from like a standpoint of like, this short makes sense as far as like my career perspective, and also just that I had the crew and the talent to be able to pull together to make it happen. I just, while we were shooting Popsy, I had just worked with Avery, the child actor in the film, on another short, and he was just kind of getting into acting, and he was so good in the series that I was working on with him.
So maybe let our viewers know this, but Rob has also been in the Stephen King universe
Somewhere else.
somewhere else.
Where was that, John?
Are we frozen?
John, you frozen?
Sorry guys, I had connection issues there for a second. Am I
Ah,
back?
that's
I
fine.
was like, not again.
Finally, it's somebody else's connection issues. Where else would these Stephen King fans have seen Rob?
Rob's in It Chapter 2. He plays an orderly in the hospital that Henry Bowers goes to. He actually gets his throat slit by Bowers in It Chapter 2. Rob's also in What We Do in the Shadows. He was in 3 seasons of a show called Blue Mountain State. Yeah, it was awesome when Popsy had its premiere at the Finn Atlantic International Film Festival, 2 theaters down at the same like complex. It Chapter 2 had its opening weekend, so the joke was that like Rob was only doing Stephen King stuff from now on, kind of thing. And then he got What We Do in the Shadows, so then he was only doing vampire stuff. And yeah, Rob's an incredible actor. He's based out of Toronto and splits his time between Toronto and LA, and he's made a go of it for the last like 10 years, and he's killing it.
How did you guys become connected? Do you have a personal relationship of being friends and being like, you should do this film, or did you scout him out?
Yeah, Rob and I actually went to Acadia University together, and we were on the same floor in residence my first year and his second year. And then after Acadia, I went and studied screenwriting at the New York Film Academy. And Rob was someone that I knew in the industry, so I sent him my thesis script that I had written through school, and he was interested enough to come on board, and now we are BFFs that work together all the time.
Right on. Jackie, what advice would you have for newer Dollar Baby filmmakers as they dig into projects?
Yeah, I think, well, I would say read all of them because there's so many great stories out there, and then have fun with it. I got to work with a group of my friends that I made throughout 5 years of living in Los Angeles, and everyone who was involved was a big Stephen King fan. So it was just really great to be able to work with friends, work with a lot of Stephen King fans, and then bring this into the Stephen King universe for others to see.
Right on. John, what about you? What advice would you have for emerging dollar baby filmmakers?
I've been a lifelong Stephen King fan probably since the age of like 10 or 11 was the first book I picked up, and I feel like a weird, like, I'm very defensive about him and his work, and I just think that if you're gonna do it, like, don't half-ass it. You gotta basically base your life around trying to tell this story, whatever it is, for a good chunk of your life. So really dive in. You got to respect his work and what you're trying to bring to screen. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Well, we've only got a couple minutes left. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans at home? Anything you want to plug, promote? This is your time.
Jackie, we'll start with you.
I have a question for Jackie, actually.
Oh!
Watching Beachworld for a second time this year, I noticed that the song at the end reminded me a lot of the Pixies song at the end of Fight Club. And I was just wondering if that was... And then as the leader to come in, I was like, oh, this is getting like pretty, like, I feel like I'm not going crazy here. And I was just wondering if that was meant to be true to form, if Fight Club is a big influence in your life.
It definitely was a big influence in my life. And actually, we spent a lot of time trying to get a song by the Beach Boys, because that's a part of the original short story. We had an awesome music supervisor, Abe Bradshaw, who's a friend, who was trying to get that song. And then I reached out to Music Bed, which licenses a bunch of cool songs, and said, hey, I want something that sounds like the Beach Boys. And they gave me the recommendation for a band called Chair Model. And that's the song. It's a song by Chair Model called Barely Shook. And then the lyrics seem to fit perfectly with what I was doing, the tone of the story and what it was all about. And then a few months later, Jordan Peele's Us came out, and they used a Beach Boys song. So it's kind of a serendipitous, like, we went with a different musical direction. And if we hadn't, I think we would have been called copycats for
right.
trying to Jordan Peele did. So I love this song, and it wasn't until afterwards where I picked up, oh my gosh, this is just like the Pixies, that beat drop. So I'm a big fan of the music, and thank you for the question.
There were a lot of people that also loved the music in John's film too. Like, they're like, the synth is so creepy. Yeah. Where did you get that from, John?
Yeah, that was that again, like, kind of what Jackie was mentioned there. Like, I started to get the idea for, of course, like, the 1.1 to 1 ratio, or whatever it is, 1.2 to 1. And then, of course, The Lighthouse came out, so I was a huge copycat of that. And then I wanted to go with the synth to be like early 90s, late 80s, and then Stranger Things came out, and I was a huge copy of that. But it was definitely just a throwback to, like, those early Stephen King. I think Amber was talking about them in her interview, like, back in the 80s, like, growing up on those old, like, the first, it was almost like the original, whether it was like not so much Shawshank, but like getting back to that late 80s, early 90s, saying all the horror movies that, like, I was terrified of as a
Issues.
Glad it's not our fault.
fellow at Acadia music at the U of T. He's this conductor in Toronto, and he did the soundtrack for us.
Awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot of love for Popsy and Beachworld, and for Jackie and John. Thanks for coming out. We do have to move on to our next film. So much love to you both.
Great seeing you guys.
Nice to see you all.
John, we'll see you soon, I'm sure.